And we are live. Okay. Great to see you, Steve. How are you doing tonight?
Excellent, Matt. Thanks for having me back.
Well, you know what? You're such a good friend. It's great to talk to you. It's always a good time to see you back on the stream. So tonight, we are going to be talking about going to the cons. Okay.
Yes.
So let's see. And we'll get to it.
Yay.
So, Steve, what con did you just go to?
I think they call it Fan Expo, but it's the Toronto ComicCon, and they have it they got it twice a year. They have one in March. The one in March, the one that I just went to, was more comic books, and then the one in the fall apparently is more of a fan-based one where they have lots of celebrities. They have two big halls, and one of them is just full of celebrities. This one was just one hall for just the comic books.
Oh, excellent. But let's say hi to some people that are here in the chat. We have the great Tina.
OG.
The OG. We have Trev, the shipping guru. And I'm not so sure that this is working right now. Can somebody in the chat say that you're hearing me? Because I'm seeing comments come up, but it's telling me that no one's in the stream so far. So if you're here, please let me know. We talked about Trev being here. Now, where's Seth at? Here's our buddy Seth.
Yeah,
right here. Now, Pretty Fly, he was in here a little bit earlier. Sounds great. Thanks, Trev. I do appreciate that. And Trev, do you see Travis, TM Nerdy, or Chris, the comic vet there? Oh, did you see them at the con tonight or this weekend?
Guess we'll have to see in a minute. Were they at the King Kong?
No, they were at the Toronto.
Con. Yeah, the shipping vet. Yeah, he was there. I missed him. I only missed him by a little bit.
But
he was there on Friday.
Chris is a good guy. I've been on different live streams with him. Love talking to him. Travis TM Nerdy, he's a guy that I know to chat to, but I don't know if we've ever been in a live stream or anything. I don't think I've ever spoke to him face to face.
Right.
But so when was the last time that you ever went to a con before the one or the Toronto one last year?
It was probably 1984, 84, 85. I know I was around 14 years old. That's the last time I've been to a con. That's a long, long time ago. And I tell you, the cons, they look different than what they were back then. It was just a dusty room with a ton of long boxes and no fancy fare. But I'm telling you, the cons nowadays, holy crap. My eyes were open last year when I went to the one in March. I'd never seen anything like that. Not what I expected.
Oh, really? That way. See, I've never been to a con. I've been to a couple small shows, but I've never been to what they call a con, where I think you're going to have to explain to me. Okay. You told me what they were like in the 80s and difference, but are there more celebrities there now or?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like I couldn't believe it. Even at this little con, they had all the actors from The Boys. There was actually there was a TV show, Constantine, that was out a couple of years ago and they canceled it. The actor who played Constantine, he was there. I can't remember the guy's name, but that guy was absolutely perfect. If there's any Constantine fans out there that have read the Hellraiser or Hellblazer comic books,
okay, yeah,
this guy was absolutely perfect in that show, and I was sad they canceled it, but he was there. There were a ton of celebrities there. It was crazy.
It Matt Ryan? Was that his name?
Yeah, Matt's. Yeah, that's the one.
See, Trev's excited because he's going his first con in 20 years. Okay, so he's listening up. Hey, Trev, what con are you planning on going to?
Yeah, that'd be good to know.
Yeah, it would be. But
there's a bunch coming up. I mean, the season's starting, right?
It is, and I got conned. Okay, to go on 2 vacations this year with my family. They wanted to go to 2 different places.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? I was planning on going to a con this year, but I think I need to keep my powder dry and go to the. It's
I
either
tell
that or
you,
I might be coming home to an empty house. So I think I'm
absolutely.
gonna.
It's a buyer's market out there, though, right now. That's what I'll tell you, though. If you're going to a con, I mean, this is the time to be buying up books because they are dropping prices. It's amazing. And they're dealing with you again. Last
Okay.
year, when I went to the con, the prices were the prices. There was no negotiation. They weren't into trading. They just wanted cash. This year, you can trade. There's cash. You can make deals. It was fantastic. I had a way better time this year. I
See,
was a little,
I've had friends of mine tell me to take books with you that you are willing to trade. And
yeah,
maybe you can work those in for a cash and trade deal or just a
yeah.
straight trade. But what's your experience with that?
Yeah, last year I took a bunch of books to the early con and I wasn't able to trade a bloody thing, you know. I mean, and they were okay books, you know. They were ones that were hot right now, like 8 billion genies. That one was really hot. I had the Jenny Frison 9/8 slab, and I
Okay.
had a few of the Eternals books and stuff before the movie crashed. And but
Oh,
you know, but nobody wanted to trade anything. They just wanted cash, 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 and the prices were the prices. So I didn't come away with a lot of books. I hit more of the dollar bins, 50-cent bins, that kind of stuff, right?
okay.
And the cons have changed. Like it's like those little cons that you've gone to, but they're on steroids. And I got to say about the Toronto Con this year, the one that I went to was a couple of weeks ago. I was a little disappointed at the number of comic book dealers. There was mostly pops, original art, video games, like everything else but comic books. There was maybe 6 dealers, and
Oh,
that was it.
really?
Whole bloody con. Yeah, I was a little disappointed. I'm walking around going, "Where the hell are the comics at?" Right? I found them in the middle, but you know, it was crazy. I couldn't believe the amount of other crap that was there, and not so much the comics. You know?
See, I've been hearing that about cons. And I have a YouTube channel and I have a vast amount of knowledge about comic books, but I'm very honest with my viewers. I don't know everything about comic book collecting. I am that Joe Schmo that's making my way through the hobby, okay? I
Right.
feel like I just did a introduction to an 80s TV show, making my way. Oh, cheers or something. But anyhow, I've just never been to one, and I would like it to be very comic book centered, but at the same time, like I go to my LCS, I can peruse books, I can read about books. Maybe the other pop culture stuff would be kind of cool to see there, but maybe
Mhm.
it's too much of that other pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But
You got to kind of plan what you're doing when you go to one of these places too. Like last year, the first one I went to, I didn't really have any plan. I just kind of showed up and kind of saw who was there and realized that there was a web page, you know, technology, and that I could find out who the creators and the artists and everything that were going to be there, so I could get all my books in order. So by the time the fall came around and I went to the big fan expo, where I met Wayne and Mark Andrews,
I
and
remember
the three
seeing
of
the
us,
pictures.
yeah, the three of us had a freaking ball. This time I had a plan. I had my lists. I had all my books ready to go. I knew exactly
Chop,
where all
chop.
these guys were, what times they were going to be there, and what it was going to cost me. So I was like, okay, we got a plan. We're going to execute the plan. And I was just beelining right for those creators, which was fantastic. I had an awesome time. That's when I started taking the pictures too. The first con, I was a little slow on that, and I wish I had, because I met Jed McKay. And if you guys know Jed
Oh,
McKay, he does the Moon Knight series right now. Fantastic writer.
mhm.
And there was nobody at the table. Like
Oh,
the
really?
table was empty. I went in there expecting to be massive lineups for this guy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Rubenstein was there. Like there was all kinds of great creators there. No lineups for nobody. I stood there with Jed McKay yapping with him for like a half an hour. And then when I left, there was still nobody. I walked by the table again. He's sitting there playing on his phone. So I'm
But
like, holy cow.
we have to say hi to Chop and Drop 2013. Super good dude. Hope you have a great weekend. Uh, Steve, you're talking about something that us as collectors, us as fans of reading great stories and great art, we think that everyone in the world is into this also because, well, heck, look at the numbers that the movies bring in. Okay.
Yeah.
We just had a bomb this past 2 weekends with Shazam. it still made $100 million. Like,
That's a lot of people going to the movies and spending money, right?
and that's a book, or that's a movie that bombed. Okay, so just to give you how much interest there is in comic book characters and stuff, but when you go to these cons, go to these shows, the lines are not as long as you would think they are for these relatively big stars. I mean,
Yeah, well, for the creators, but the kids that are there, like the people that are there, it's insane. Like the place is rammed, like packed right wall to wall. You're like weeding your way through people in there. So I'm not saying that there's not a lot of people there. There's a ton of people there, but you got to look at the demographics. It's a lot of these kids that are into cosplay. Everybody's dressed up. They're doing, and they have their little runway there, and they have little shows with all these people with their cosplay. I mean, that's a big culture of it now. Like we're the old fogies after the comic books, the pops, the anime, all that stuff is like the new in now for these cons.
But Gary B, the casual comic guy, one of these days we're gonna go to a show, and maybe I'll grab Gary, and then we'll go up to Toronto to go to a con, and meet up with you. That might be a good idea.
That'd be a blast. We'd have a lot
Gary
of fun.
doesn't live too far from Toronto. I mean, might be 2.5 hours, but you can get there in a late afternoon.
Yeah, and we'll drag Mark Andrews down from the massive north.
Where's he live? Thunder Bay or what?
No. Yeah, he's way up there near the North Pole.
Yeah, he's pretty far up there.
He's about 4 hours north of Toronto, so it takes him a little while to come down. Yeah, up in North.
And it's still in Ottawa, isn't it?
No, Ottawa's to the east. That's over where the
not Ottawa, Ontario. Forgive me, Ontario.
Ontario, yes, yeah, the province of Ontario. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like different states.
Right? I got to tell you a story, just because you're from Canada. But I was up, and it was Niagara Falls is where I was at, and I was sitting at a hotel bar. It was one of the casinos, and I was there with some friends, and some young kid showed up. Like, hey, can I, they ordered a drink. The bartender said, hey, can I see your ID? And they brought up something, and I don't even know what the ID was, but the bartender's like, I'm not going to take that. And he goes, why? Well, that's not what a driver's license looks like. And the kid said, oh, do all the states in Canada have different driver's licenses? He kind of told on himself right there.
It looks like Seth's got a question for us there.
Seth, where are you at? Question: do you think that the cons now are going to go back to the old way of things after the pandemic? I'm not sure what the old way of things were. If the old way is the old comic book shows, even though I haven't been to a con, I'm going to say probably not, because everything's about money, and money is involved. And, there's businesses that want to push their product, and, they want to market it the best way they can. And guys, comic book collectors, if you're an old school like me, I'm all about the comic books. I can go rifle through long boxes all day long. But for most people, that boards them out, and they want to go see other cool stuff. But so I'm not sure if that's what Seth means, but that's my take. What do you think?
Well, you see, I've only been to the cons, one back in '85, and then 2 last year, and then this year. But last year, we were still in the pandemic. Everybody had masks on, but the crowds were still packed. And then I thought this one that I just went to wasn't going to be as busy because the dollar, everything, we're in like a mini recession now. But it was just as rammed as last year's event. I couldn't believe the lineup, and I even showed up an hour late just to avoid the lineups, and I was still in a huge, massive lineup to get into the bloody place.
I have done that.
My plan.
But
sorry.
Hey, Mr. Bratton, tell Mrs. Bratton have a wonderful birthday, and congratulations to young Mr. Bratton, who placed in his karate competition. So,
Congrats.
Excellent job for the Bratton family. They're doing a lot of good things down there.
Yeah, I saw that on IG. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
Seth, well said, Matt. I guess I like to talk about nostalgia when it comes to comic books. I kind of think, I agree with Seth on that. But it's just, people that are trying to sell a product, they're going to be the ones that are pushing it. at these cons.
Yeah, but like I said, this year they're willing to deal. I mean, I managed to get myself a nice little mini Grail book that I've been after for a while.
Oh, do tell about that. I want to hear is there a story that goes with this?
Okay, so this is an 8.5. I went to this one of the 6 booths, and like I said, the guys are willing to deal. So they had 25% or something off. There were some booths that were like 75% off. They had this one marked for 180, almost $200. And after it was all said and done, I got them down to 140, and I walked out with it. But it's an 8.5. But while I was there looking, I looked up the serial number on it on the old Google phone there, and found out that when whoever submitted this book didn't clean or press it, they just sent it in the poly bag, and it says on the thing, poly bag removed, slight creases on the cover. And I looked at it, and I'm like, this is a great CPR candidate. And I got it for a steal, because I've seen these books going for $400 or $500, and to steal it for 140, and even after I crack, press, resubmit, and come back with another grade, I'm probably only gonna be a little above $200 into this thing. So if I hit the 9s, it's a win-win. Even though I'm never going to sell it, because I'm a collector, not a seller. But it's cool to be able to get like a cool book like that and be able to upgrade, right?
With all the tens and tens of viewers of this channel, Steve, I think you might have just started something. Everyone's going to be going on eBay looking for that book. And now they're going to be dialing in for the grader's notes. They're going to look up the certification number and do some research. And every book that says polybag removed, and they're going to look at it, they might be buying those books at a lower price, cracking them, shipping them back down, or cracking, pressing, shipping them back down, and seeing what they get.
Just like this one, 9.2, exact same thing. UF4, polybag removed. I looked at it. It's got some creases on it. Grader's notes say the same thing. So, I mean, a 9.2, I'll be able to crack, press, resubmit. If I get a 9.8 on this sucker, now we're talking like $1,000, $2,000 for this book. Depending on, if we go into a pandemic again, then it'll be worth like $20,000.
Well, in 2021, that book was going for a pretty consistent $3,500.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I bought mine in summer of 2020, and it had jumped up quite a bit. In fact, I almost didn't buy it in summer 2020 because I felt this is at a peak. Well, I'm glad I did because I haven't paid anywhere near what the prices are even today.
No, I got that UF4 back before the pandemic, like years and years back. I think only that one again, I paid maybe $180 or something for that book.
Oh, yeah.
Before it exploded, even a 9.2, that was worth some money at the time. Or during the pandemic, it was, it was up there.
That used to be a super cheap book. I mean, it wasn't even Ultimate Fallout 1, and nobody knew that Miles was going to be this giant character. I mean, it turned out to be, a big one, but.
Yeah, we still haven't seen him in the MCU, but I'm sure he's coming one day.
Oh, it's guaranteed. I mean, the fact that they're putting him in, Scholastic is selling Miles Morales graphic novels in the schools, at the book fairs. They used to do I forget what they were called, but they would give a flyer and you would order certain books, and then they came.
Scholastic? Is it Scholastic?
I think it was, yes. But now they still have Scholastic, but now they have book fairs. Right. Well, yeah, I made sure that I picked up a copy of the Miles Morales, because the book that's in the school book fairs, you give that, when these kids that are in school now are growing up, that's the book they're going to want. So, yeah, I definitely have copies of that. And I don't normally collect graphic novels.
No, I only have a limited selection of graphic novel books.
Yeah.
I'm more of I like the independent issues. Unless I've got something graded and I don't have a raw copy, then I'll go to a trade for that.
Well, absolutely. That's what my trades are for. I didn't want to read the books, individual floppies. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buy the floppies, bag them and board them. And then I still want to read the story, because at the base of it, I'm a comic book reader. Like, yes, I love to collect, but I love the stories, which is why I collect. So if I can read without damaging a book, it's a win-win.
Yeah, I did that first off with the Eternal series when I was collecting that, because I had a #1, but it was already graded, and I didn't have a raw copy of it, so I went and picked up the trade so I could read the whole series, right? Because I had the rest of the books raw, but I didn't have #1, so I just got the trade, and boom, now I got them all.
I read Amazing Spider-Man, the same way. I got I think they were called. I'm looking. I can see them up on my one shelf over here. They're essentials. Okay, they were black and white, but they were collected series. But Tina, I loved ordering books when I was a kid.
So did I.
I think Tina would have graduated somewhere in the early 2010s, 2000. So she would have been in elementary school about 15 years ago. So I didn't realize that they still had Scholastic about 15 years ago when Tina was in elementary school. But see, I'm an old guy, so I didn't know whenever they quit.
I had no idea either.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Steve and Matt, what's he saying?
Yeah,
see, Seth. They do just a little bit of work. Steve has 2 comic book rooms. I only have one.
This is the basement comic book room that I'm currently in right now. It's where all the heavy stuff sits. I got the filing cabinet there. I've got the I guess it's a legal filing cabinet with the big pull-out drawers, and it fits 20 short boxes, which is perfect. Yeah,
Trev's telling me I'm smooth.
Smooth.
But
well, he's in the Millennium Falcon over there with the lights and the.
I'm going more Spaceballs and ludicrous speed. Okay? But I just got a kick out of it. This is the basement comic book room. See, I just have the comic book room. You have names for your comic book rooms.
They had to be named. Which one are you in? The upstairs one or the downstairs one? So the main comic book room or the basement? That's what I call this one in my Excel files too. When I to locate where books are, I have it basement comic book room. So it's BCR. There we go. I know the letters. Basement comic room.
Tina made me think. I forgot something. I was going to change something today with my room or my video, and I forgot to do it.
Uh-oh.
But her and I talk offline a lot, and she tells me what she likes to see in the room, and sometimes I bring it, sometimes I just forget.
I'll get after it. What is it that you need to get in there now?
Well, I'll keep that a secret.
Okay. Just like me, I'm going to keep a secret because I've got a massive Grail book that I just picked up from my comic shop, and it is charging its way here from Texas as we speak, and I can't wait to get my hands on this book. It is a childhood book. It is the very first book that I ever purchased with my own money from the newsstand, and I got it in a 9.8 and a newsstand copy. So stay tuned.
I'm sitting here kind of like flabbergasted because I feel like you and I are like somehow like mentally connected because
it's the beautiful hair.
It is. I like it. I just cut it today. Sometimes I'll go like a week without cutting my hair, and then, but I think I did a video on Friday, and I was like, man, I look like I have a lot of hair there. But now I say this because from last night on my comic shop, I ordered a nice Grail for myself, one that I've been looking for, and it's making its way from Texas up to me. And I have a feeling that mine will show up quicker than yours.
Yeah. Mine will be like the end of the month. Next month, I'll see it.
Although,
so we'll have to do another show. I
ordered mine last night.
We're going to have to do another show the next time when you get it and I get my book, we can do a reveal show. How's that?
Oh, I don't know, buddy. I'm going to be pretty excited. I might do a video just to show it.
Oh, it's going to be that excited, eh? Yeah, well, I am too, but you know what? I can restrain. You can just sit there and look at the book. And
Steve in Texas, welcome home. Hey, I think I mentioned before, I used to live in Texas. Love Texas, okay? It's such a great place to be. People in Texas are just, they're just cool is the easiest way to say. Just good people.
That's good.
I lived in a small West Texas town called San Angelo, which They have a nice little Division II school, Angelo State. You know, it's a nice little part of Texas. I like it a lot. Wellbore, our buddy from Alberta. You know, good place up there.
Oh,
Who
yeah,
else?
Trev.
Oh, and here's Kenneth Bird. He is showing up. People saying hi to each other.
Yeah, and Trev talking right there. There, look.
Yes. He was looking for a grail. And a really great person sent him, guys. If you haven't seen, check out Trev the Shipping Guru's YouTube. And he shows the grail that he got. Here's I didn't rip it. Pretty Fly thought I ripped this last week. Okay. It's a Trev sticker. Actually,
here. I got one too.
If you look over here, Trevor made the cabinet. Okay. That's the wall of honor. Not everyone gets on the cabinet.
Yeah, same here. He's up on my filing cabinet.
Nice.
Until I get a pin or whatever, and then I can stick it on my shirt or whatever. Yeah. Tina's the best. Like, you got to give a massive shout out to Tina for that. That is just unreal.
Tina's amazing. But yeah, go check out Trev's YouTube channel. Check out that video. Your jaw hits the floor whenever you see what Tina sent to him.
When I saw that book, I went, oh my God. Tina, I want to be your friend.
Well, Tina got some pretty nice book just last night from Trev. So, you know what? There's a lot of good AOKs going around in this community, and that's awesome to see.
You know what? That's what I love about this community. Like when a lot of us get our personal grails and stuff, you know, we're not jealous. We're happy. We're genuinely happy for that person when they get that, you know, when we see that happiness, it's amazing.
You said it perfectly. It's a genuine happiness and a joy because a lot of us, we get to see what work people are doing, putting into it. Now, a lot of people, they'll use parts of their collection. They'll sell books in order to acquire those grails. Some people, I know people that work second jobs, you know, and they use that extra money for their hobby, which is still working hard for it. So it is always nice to watch how people acquire their grails.
Yeah, that's what I say too. Yeah, I'm not rich and famous. I'm just irresponsible. How I buy my books. You get that itch, right? The FOMO hits you.
There must be a pollen in the air because I'm not sick, but I've been, you know, there's something catching my throat here. So guys, just bear with me while I half choke through this video. But, Seth, let's just say this. When it comes to Trev, John Constantine is the man, okay?
Yes, he is. And I got to see him at the con. I didn't go up and talk to him, but I did see him I from a distance. Like I just perused along that aisleway when I was heading towards the creators to get my list done because I have a list.
Now, Gary, I keep your stickers on the back of the toilet tank, okay? That's where yours are. No, I don't do that. Gary's an awesome guy. Sorry, Gary. I don't mean it to be rude. Just having fun. But you know what? You're a good man. You're keeping the house clean, Wellbore. But hey, Steve, you and I were talking. You're a great man from Canada and another great Canadian. There's a lot of great Canadians. Is William Shatner. William Shatner was the captain on the original Star Trek show. But we've been watching Picard.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on the new Picard show?
The new season
without William Shatner, but still Star Trek.
Yeah, the new season is phenomenal. As we were yapping about it earlier, I mean, this is the Star Trek that we've been waiting for. The first two seasons just garbage, but you know what? Now I'm glad I stuck with it because this season is just amazing. Lots of action, lots of battles. This is the cool stuff I was waiting for. You know, kind of takes you back to the new Next Generation, but more exciting. You know, it's kind of like a mix between Next Generation and the way they had the movies set up.
Nexus, the movie. Yeah, that's what it was called. No, it's just there's so much action, and honestly, they're getting the gang back together. It's almost the entire original crew. I think we're missing Wesley, and that's it.
Yep.
I'm waiting for William Shatner to make an appearance because they're really getting the old gang back together.
I think he's done with Star Trek now. He still makes appearances at the cons. He was at Fan Expo last year in the fall. He
I
was
know. I'd like to meet that guy. He actually seems like a genuinely good human being.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never met him, but that's why we went to the one in the 80s with my brother, because the Star Trek cast was there, including what was the name of Uhura? Nicole Nicholas?
Oh,
Isn't
Nicole
that her name?
Nichols.
Nichols? I don't know. I'm probably
Nicole
butchering her
Nichols.
name, but she was there. DeForest Kelly, who plays McCoy, he was there. I think the actor who plays Scotty and William Shatner. They were all there back in the 80s, which was really cool. I didn't see them though, because I was more interested in doing trades and thumbing through all those long boxes.
You were 14 then. I don't know if Star Trek was cool at the moment.
No, not really. I was more of a Battlestar Galactica kind of kid, because I was that much younger. So,
but, no, I've never met any of those, and honestly, I think William Shatner is the only one left, isn't he?
Yep, I think so.
I don't know how. I mean, I do know how it is, but like, I'm not an old man, but it feels like all the the old people that were movie stars at one time that weren't old, they seem to be going on to the next part of their journey. So,
yeah, they're getting up there.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I think William Shatner, was he 92? Is that how old he was in his last birthday?
I don't know. I know he went up into space though. I saw him.
Oh, Lord, thank you. I was thinking there was one more, and it's George
Takei. Yes.
And I was actually in my head. I'm like, there's another one, a big one. I know who it is, but
and the actor who played Chekhov.
Yeah, right? Well, no, Solo.
Sulu. George Takei is Sulu, but there's an actor who plays Chekhov. Isn't that actor? Isn't he still alive? Or is he gone too?
I don't know who you're talking about, obviously, but well, you know what? We're not experts here. Hopefully, he's still around. Okay, let's root for him. But I don't know that.
Not a Trekkie.
Yeah. Well, board. Nice ref. What? Yes. So now I've been really digging Picard. So, chat, while we're still here talking, give us some tips about what you guys do for cons. Like, let's share some ideas. Let's share some experiences that you've had, maybe trading a book or how you negotiate, or just how you go and take in a con. And I think we were talking earlier, Steve. Like, Steve and I talked for about 40 minutes before the show ever started. So a lot of this conversation is just continuation. But I've only ever been to 2 shows. And honestly, the first show I was at, I don't even know if you account it as a comic book show by today's standards. It was about a dozen guys with a table with 10 long boxes on each table. Like, that was what it was. Okay,
mini cons. Those are mini cons.
Mini con, mini show, yes. And it was in a hotel lobby. It wasn't even like in a hotel like conference room. It was just in a lobby. But
yeah, I've been to a couple of those that were in like community centers. The same thing. They're in like some auditorium of a community center, and it's like a dozen people, if that.
Yeah. And there's some good to have about that. But I want to say hi to Comic Journey. This is another guy who has a great YouTube channel. Okay, but the Comic Journey. But the second show that I went to about a year and a half ago, I didn't go in with the strategy. I just went in and was absorbing. And truthfully, what it was for me was like a fact-finding mission. Like, I wanted to know how they operated. I tried to negotiate a couple prices with books. I ended up buying a couple books. But the one I went to in 2021, they were selling books at insanely high prices that I was not going to touch. I remember one guy, he was selling an ASM 50, a 2.0. He was selling it for $1,500.
Yikes.
And I almost like choked whenever he told me the price, because I knew what the fair market value was for that book at that time. And it was nowhere near. Like, that was like 4 times what the FMV for that book was. So he wasn't negotiating.
He was trying to pay for his table with that one book is what he was doing.
All his books were really, really high. He had a Iron Man 1, I remember. It just, and the thing was that guy wasn't unique. I did end up buying 2 books. I said one. I bought one that was a slab. It was a static one, and I bought the other copy, and it was raw.
Nice.
But I just knew who the seller was through Instagram, and he gave it to me for exactly fair market value. So he wasn't ripping me off. He didn't give me a deal, but he gave me a deal on that book compared to everybody else in that show. So yeah, that was my experience. So I had to learn what to do there. And if I go again, I think I'm going to take some books with me that I'm willing to part with.
Yeah, and it's also good to go with a buddy or something too, because the first time I met Wayne, we went to a little con in Oshawa, and it was the first time I met him. You know, I'm outside, we're yapping a little bit. Then we went in, we started going through the books and stuff, and we didn't really expect to find anything in this place because it wasn't a big con. It was in the auditorium of a little place, and we found this one dealer, and this guy had some freaking awesome books. And Wayne and I just kind of looked at each other, and you know, we needed a minute to strategize. So the two of us stepped away from the table and we talked, and we said, okay, you know, what books do you want? I saw a book that I own now, which I've wanted my whole life. This guy had all these George Perez signed books, all kinds of DC stuff, and his prices actually weren't too bad. So Wayne and I decided to walk back up to the table and see if we could make a package deal out of this stuff and get some of the prices dropped down. And it worked like a charm.
That is a great strategy.
Oh, yes. And then you walk away with one of my Grail books again.
Oh, Wonder Woman 75.
No, Wonder Woman #1, Volume 2, signed by George Perez. I know it's a direct edition, but just to have his signature.
75. As soon as I said 75, I'm like, wait, that's not right. But yes, I can't think of what book I'm thinking of 75. But yes, yep. Wonder Woman 1 by Perez. That's a great cover. But
I bought this one at a newsstand directly off back in the day. This was what, 1987. 1987, I picked this up off the newsstand for the whopping $1. And I still have it upstairs. But I always wanted it signed. And I was going to send my book in to the signing when George Perez announced he was sick. And then the signing got canceled and everybody got their books back. And I was like, Jesus, I'm never going to get his signature.
Yeah.
And then when I met Wayne and we went to the con, I said, Jesus, Wayne, you are my lucky charm for me to be able to get a Grail book that I've always friggin' wanted and to have his signature on it. And the signature is actually well placed too. It's right down here.
That is a good signature right there. See,
I like that.
I kind of like signatures, but a lot of people sign right over top of like a key part of the art. I don't really care for that. I like it whenever they sign in negative spaces. Walter Koenig, Koenig, I think that's Chekhov. Thanks, Walbor.
Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to. Somebody can Google it.
Yeah,
but yeah, getting the mighty Perez's signature was amazing. And then my son got me a print of that same cover. It's a big one. It's in my living room, and it's also signed by Perez. So now I have two of his signatures on the same book, but one's just a print of that cover, which is something that I've loved his artwork back in the 80s. I collected all those Wonder Woman books, and I just love the artwork. It's incredible.
But hey, if you guys want to see the best hands in all of YouTube, and they're not these ones, yeah, they're right here with Comic Journey. But Seth has a good question right here, Steve. Is it better to get a book at a con or buy it on eBay? And honestly, I don't think that there's a right or wrong, but here's my advice. Whenever you're going to a con and you're negotiating a price, before you buy it, go look online and see if you can find a cheaper price. Because we have that ability now where before you had smartphones, little computers in your pocket. And I'm one of those guys that's old enough to remember what life was like without it, even though it's such an integral part of life now. We didn't have that option before. You had to make that decision. Is this going to be the best deal or not? So now I say, pull it up on your phone, go to eBay, go to my comic shop, do whatever. If you can find a cheaper deal than at a con, that right there, you can maybe use that to negotiate at a con. Like, hey, buddy, I'd buy that book from you right now. I have cash, but I can buy this online right now. So what do you want to do? And so that's what I would do with that.
I agree. That's exactly right. But it's good to be, if you got the book right there, you can also look at it too. That's the other thing. The eBay, you're getting these blurry pictures and you don't know if that's the actual book or not. You're taking your chances on that. At least at the con, the book's right there. It's in your hands. You can pull it out. You can look at it. And then you can make the decision right there to pull the trigger or not. And negotiating online, that's perfect.
Yeah. So there's different, there's different strategies. And honestly, I don't think you can go wrong. He doesn't do Google.
Don't
always walk the con before even making the first offer. That I think is just wise advice, period. I mean, buying a car, buying a house, buying a comic book grail, look around, see what options are out there before you fork over your hard-earned cash. Yes, love the hands.
The Kool-Aid man.
But a lot of good stuff here. So are you planning on doing any cons after this weekend this year?
Yeah, I'm going to be going to, there's one in Niagara Falls coming up in June that I'm going to try to hit because the Trailer Park Boys are all going to be there. And they actually put out a comic book, so I was hoping to get them to sign the book. So when I go to the cons now I've got strategies when I go in. So I go on the old interwebs. I go to, the Fan Expo is great because they list all of the comic book creators. And a lot of them, they have pictures and not only the comic book creators, but they also tell you what books they've written or drawn. So I can sit and make out a list like I did for this one. And I wrote down, which artists that I wanted to get signed and which books. So then I'd go to my collection, pull those books out. And then I got my lovely little my satchel that I'll bring with pens and all that stuff. And my store folio in there. And I'll have all my books nice and secured in there, ready to go. And that's my strategy. I go in, okay, I want to go after these guys. I find out what day they're going to be there, which books I want to get signed. But sometimes I don't know. Like this con that I just went to, I don't know what the cost was for some of them. Like Jay Lee was there. Okay. And he was charging $10 a pop for his signature. So I had 3 books and I'm like, I'm not spending all that money. So I just got the one book signed by Jay Lee. And I thought it was probably the coolest book out of the bunch, which is,
I saw you post that on Instagram,
#1, and his signature is just phenomenal down there at the bottom. And
my son, he has a book signed by Jay Lee. Yeah,
picture of him signing the book, because you got to get that proof now. Although he's wearing a mask, so you don't know if that's him or not. But $10 a pop. I had 2 other books with me, and I was like, I don't know if I want to spend that, because the other guy that I was getting another book signed was also charging like $5 a pop for his signature. And I had a book signed by him too. And that was, who was that? Tomasi, who did this one here, Blood Tree. It's an image book. So then he was wearing cool shades.
Let that light show. Ah, there you go.
There we go. Is that better?
Oh yeah.
Great story.
Is a fire cover. And I love how everyone check out Steve as he flips his book. I love how he takes pictures of whenever the book is signed and puts it in the back. That I don't know if you're the only person to ever do that, but it's definitely unique, and it's so smart to do that.
Yeah, just like
memory of yours.
2 of my favorite books is, or one of my favorite series right now is The Silver Coin.
Okay,
great horror story, lots of really cool stories in here.
Image book.
Mike Walsh was the one who wrote it, Mike Walsh, and of course, he was there signing, so I got him to sign my book. So I got that one done, and the second print, and the same thing, signing the back of that one, or signing that one. And I just like having the pictures to go with the book, because it's also the memories too. When I look back at it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was pretty cool. I stood there talking with the guy for a little bit. He was very happy that I bought the book, and we yapped about the storyline, because I talked to the creators. We got time, because there was no lineups. I was amazed again,
But and it is cool. Like these creators, they're signing book after book after book, and even though they're only charging $5-10, oh, they're making money. Okay, like I'm not saying they're getting rich at that rate. Not like a Todd McFarlane CGC signing. My gosh, I did the math on that. That guy was making $9 per letter he wrote. But anyhow, to us fans, whenever we go to the cons, we get a chance to even if it's only like a minute, a 2-minute conversation with a creator, we remember those.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they mean a lot to the people that are taking those books up there. And like, it's really nice that they're willing to sit there. Cause honestly, I don't know if I would enjoy sitting at a table for 8 hours signing a one after another book. I would just, I don't know, it'd be kind of boring.
Yeah, you'd want somebody to come and engage with you, especially somebody who knows the books, knows the story, is
Yes.
genuinely interested. And when I saw James Tynion last year, I saw him for all 4 days of the con, and every time I was at this table, I was asking him questions like the stuff that he likes, books that
Yeah.
he loves to read, and what he's planning on doing for the future, and he was kind of taken aback. He's sitting there like, well, oh my God, this guy's asking me questions. He's engaging with me. Oh, that's cool. Because I was watching, I was in lineup for half an hour watching people sign. He's just sign. One guy
They
had a
weren't
short
saying
box.
anything to him.
Nothing. Nobody was talking to me. I engaged every one of them. They had the whole creative team of Something is Killing the Children, and I was getting my the Nice House on the Lake books signed, and The Closet, and a bunch of other stuff, and I was buying stuff off of the guy, and I was yapping with. I even got a selfie with the guy. I said, "Hey, you want to do a selfie?" And there was a massive lineup, and he's like, "Yeah, no problem." He got up, did a selfie with me. I'm like, "Beautiful."
I have a picture with him. Him and I, we talked for honestly 7-8 minutes. Like I did a little interview for the YouTube channel, but most of our conversation was offline, like, or not offline, but off the camera, and like just a genuinely nice person. And I think I engaged him unintentionally, like what you did, where you were asking specific things about him. And I was asking him about, he was going to Substack and how he felt about that. And, and I actually I remember him like looking like, oh yeah, of course. I think he was surprised of the questions that I was asking him,
because you were engaging him, right?
Yeah. Now that you say that other people just go right through the line and don't say anything, that might be why he was kind of surprised at some of the questions I was asking.
Yeah, maybe because people are either shy or they're just, the monetary value. They want the books. Like I said, there was a guy with a short box, and we were all groaning when he showed up ahead of us, right? And he pulls out a short box, and I'm like, Jesus, this guy's going to be here signing these books for an hour with a freaking short box full of books. And then it wasn't cheap because the first, I think 3 books were free for his signings. And then after that, it was charging like $5 a signature. So this guy was just loading the books, and he had like tons of Batman books and all kinds of stuff that he was getting signed, man, just monopolizing the time.
But Seth says it right. It's nice to have something common with somebody you meet.
Yeah.
And Tina, she's not lying. You have the smooth voice, Steve, and that gets you the in.
That's what makes me a good teacher, because part of it's the voice. I talk with authority, like I know what I'm actually talking about, even if I'm full of crap.
It doesn't matter, just wing it. If you say anything with confidence, people will believe it.
Absolutely.
It's like my before I became a teacher, whenever I was in the NBA for 3 years, I had a heck of a time touring the country at that time. And you just whenever you meet people, you just have to be very, confident in what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there's like 3 people in the chat that are like, it was Matt Woods in the NBA. No, just saying it with confidence. But, so you're going to Toronto this year. You might be going to Niagara Falls.
Yeah, it's in June sometime. I can't remember the dates, but definitely the one in the fall of August. That's the Toronto. Okay. That's the big fan expo. That one I will not miss. And if you're going to come up for it, get the VIP. Go for the 4 days. You get a special room that you get to go chill in afterwards. Mark Andrews and I sat there yapping for quite a while and just chilling away from the massive crowds.
So, now, is that the Expo Con or the
Fan Expo?
Yeah, Fan Expo that has the VIP.
Called, yeah.
But Seth, I'm glad I was your favorite player when I was there.
You probably got his rookie card, right? You got his rookie card?
I think Wellbore.
That was rookie card. There you go.
Maybe I should make a little short about my NBA career.
Your very short-lived career.
But very, very, very short-lived.
I hope to get to that Niagara Falls one. That one's iffy, but definitely the one in the fall, because I know Mark Andrews, he'll come down for that, and we'll hang out again for sure.
I need to meet you guys in person. That's one of my favorite things to do in this hobby. Just go meet people.
And when those guys were there, when Wayne and Mark were there, they didn't really have any plans. They were just winging it. They kind of followed me around because I was the man with the plan. You know, I knew who I wanted to see. I was there for the signatures because I knew the comic book prices at the time were ridiculous. You know, and negotiating nothing was just, you weren't able to negotiate anything. So I'm like, okay, forget the books. I'm here for the creators. I want to talk to creators. I want to get my signatures.
And hang out with some good people. Yeah.
Sorry?
And you got to hang out with some great people.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Squirrel
those guys
Madness,
are huge.
Met him before. Like, he was at GarageCon, and we had a great time down there. Just a super warm, good human being. I'm a big fan of Squirrel Madness.
Yep, and he's a tall guy too. Both him and Mark. You want to talk about NBA stars? Both of those guys.
Wait, like I know
7'10", whatever. The guys are huge. I walked. I was like, I'm looking up at them, going, "Hi."
Now, Wayne, he's 6'7", I believe.
And I know I'm 6 foot, and I was looking up at these guys.
And you're saying Mark is right up there with him?
Yeah, the two of them could look eye to eye. It blew me away when I met him. I went, "Holy cow! You look a lot shorter on the videos."
Yeah, I mean, they're only like as big as your screen.
Yeah, right here. This is how big
they're a little taller on an iPad than they are the phone, but or the tablet.
But we had a blast, though. It was easy to find them. If I got lost, I said, "I just got to turn around. I'll see you guys, no problem."
Yeah,
As we waded through the crowds.
Seth, the best thing about the community is you get to know one another, and I agree with that. Okay.
Yeah, I would have never met these guys. I would have never known anything about them without watching the Squirrel Madness show and the Reggie show and yours.
Yeah,
I would have known none of you people at all.
Well,
I'd have lived in my little xenophobic world in my 2 comic book rooms.
You know, and this is a topic I've discussed before. Like, collecting was a very private thing for me, and these conventions, they changed that. Because, I'm here in my comic book room and I love it. But if I collect and I don't ever meet anybody, well, then nobody even knows that I have, a hobby like this. It's just all like this or all personal. But when you go to conventions, you get to see people. You get to meet creators. You get to meet friends. You get to make friends. And that creates a sense of community. This YouTube, comic book YouTube community, this is such a wild, awesome extension of this hobby that we've all had. And let me take a drink, Steve. You take over for a second.
Absolutely. I agree with that. That's the people that I've met now, and it's just incredible. And I got to get down to that GarageCon one of these years. I don't know if it'll be this year. Probably not. But one of these years, I'll get down to one of those.
Oh, it's a good time. Tina, she loves Wayne. And Trev, like we're all talking. Wait, he is 6'7". Okay, he is. Yep. So Mark's that tall too.
Yep.
Holy smokes. I'm a solid 5'10".
I felt like just a little person next to those guys, and I was like, wow, I'm just a kid here.
But that was awesome. Uh-oh.
I have a Wookiee said he should.
I'm sorry.
You are Han Solo now. Matt Solo.
That is the greatest YouTube comment ever.
Now you got to get one of those cardboard life-size cutouts of the Wookiee and have it sitting next to you.
Oh, I got to make that happen. Put a Wookiee right here, Chewbacca. Okay, right
and then
here.
Have Leia and Luke right behind you.
I think Seth agrees with that.
Yeah. Gotta have the whole
is 6'2". Yeah, these guys are big dudes, man.
Comic Journey, holy cow! Yep, yeah, these guys are big.
Trev, now, Wellbore, this is the fastest comic room in the galaxy.
It can go light speed, or how fast past light speed? 0.2 or something past light speed.
Something like that. Okay, because
trying to remember my Star Wars lore.
Yeah, it's quick. Let's just put it that way. Okay, we got to get across the galaxy. Okay, in like 7 parsecs. I don't know if we can do that.
Do the Kessel Run.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about. But
So yeah, having a plan is a good thing for a con. At least that's what I've been feeling doing these last couple ones, and it made my experience more fun. I went in, got my signatures done, and then after that, I beelined it to the short boxes, and then of course you got your cell phone. Some people have their old-fashioned paper lists, and they're sitting there digging through those boxes, filling out those runs, getting those books that they're looking for.
Well, it's nice because if anyone's LCSs are like the ones I have around me, the back issue bins, it's hard to find run fillers. It's hard to find those hard to find books. It's basically full of books from the last 10 years that didn't sell when they were on a rack. And, it's kind of hard to find those. Now, sometimes if you're looking for a series that's pretty obscure, you might get lucky. But, everybody and her brother is looking for, sub 100 ASM books. Mm-hmm. So
they always sell.
Sometimes it's hard to fill those runs at a regular LCS, but you go off to a show, you're going to find people that are knowing that someone's looking for those types of books.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't find a whole lot in the bins, but that Spider-Man book, that was really good. Finding that Miles Morales one, that was a surprise. I didn't even expect to be walking out there with a slab. Again, that's the other thing too about cons. It's like with gambling: set your limit and play within it.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
So bring a certain amount of money and try to stay in your budget. But then again, I'm irresponsible. So then when I see a book that I want and I'm making a negotiation for a decent deal, and then
when you start negotiating in your head how you're going to get the money to pay for it, you need to walk
we'll figure about that later. That's fine.
You're right. But hey, Seth is 6'9" in Stiletto Hills. Seth, I don't know if I ever want to see in Stiletto Hills, but
So we got a lot of NBA stars in the chat.
Yeah, right.
9. That's crazy.
Go to Alpha Variants. Seth, thanks for the laugh.
Afro.
Anyhow, Steve, it's always great to talk to you. Super good guy. I'm glad we got to discuss, comic book conventions, why they're important, what to do, what to look for. But eventually I'm going to get to a con, and I have a feeling that the first big con I'm going to ever get to, it's either going to be New York ComicCon or Toronto Fan Expo, because they're both about the same distance. I could do a C2E2 maybe.
That'd be
that's a little bit further drive.
Yeah, get some of those exclusive books too. That's another cool thing that you find at these cons. You find those exclusive covers, right?
Oh, the acetate gate book at C2E2.
Yeah, you can do that.
An exclusive cover.
Yes, it is. We're not going to talk about that one, are we?
Oh man,
that's another show.
I don't like drama, but I enjoy watching other people go through drama.
Oh, that was double drama, because then didn't his wife leave him for a comic book creator there?
The owner of
Clayton Crane.
Yeah, Clayton Crane left.
Left
with
his
wife.
With his wife.
Was it Blackstone? No, not Blackstone, but
he did a whole video on it. That's crazy. That's double drama.
I interviewed Clayton Crane.
Oh, thanks, Tina.
And the wife, she was there at that con.
She was.
And I'll be honest with you. Maybe I shouldn't say this. I mean, they're private people, but I thought she was his girlfriend. I thought the wife of the owner of Black Flag, was Clayton Crane's girlfriend. Only later did I realize, wait, that's that guy's wife. Yeah, they were pretty, she was, doing a lot of handling and being very friendly. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean like in a wrong way or anything, but her and Clayton Crane were clearly friends.
Yeah. Well, we don't know the whole backstory, right? There could be a whole lot going on there.
It's wise to never judge people. You never know what goes behind closed doors. So
you don't know their lives.
You just don't. So, sometimes it's just best to hold off judgment. But I have met her, and I have met Clayton Crane. But all right, Steve, you want to tell people where they can find you on social media?
Just on the IG, there's Steve HR Hooligan, and Facebook again. Antiquated, but I'm still on Facebook. I don't know why I'm still on Facebook, but I am. You like my IG?
Yeah, hooligan. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
because the
that's
hot
a word
rods,
you don't hear too often anymore.
that goes back to my car days, working on the hot rods and the cars and stuff back when I was a kid.
When you were a hooligan.
When I was a hooligan, yeah, I did a lot of nefarious things. That's for another show.
You're right. But hey, we're gonna sign off here.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on, Steve. Chat, guys, everybody, thank you for watching, and you have a great day.